what about?
Hi, you guys. Welcome back to our podcast. This is the Guide to a Black Female. My name is Shaquila Danielle.
I'm Denisha Sierra.
And I'm Phaedra Elise.
And today we are going to be talking about this PEBT that I have yet to hear about for real. That I've only been seeing on TikTok.
Wait. Oh, so the school never told you nothing about it?
Nothing.
Oh.
Wait, it's called PEBT?
PEBT, yeah.
It's like pandemic, EBT.
Oh, pandemic.
Yeah. I just never heard.
So it's for everybody to...
All the kids.
No, it's only for kids who qualify for free or reduced lunch, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So that's why I can't do it, because Mason doesn't qualify.
So if you've never... Sorry, there's something in my cup. So if you've never received... Is this a string? If you've never received any government assistance, then this is your time to receive it.
No. If you don't qualify for free or reduced lunch, you don't get it.
No, okay, I get that, but I'm saying, like, even if you had free lunch or I think somebody's shooting. Even if you had free or reduced lunch, I'm saying if you didn't get EBT, you got free or reduced lunch, whatever, but you don't get EBT, this is your time that you could get it.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's still the same qualifications as EBT.
I'm telling you, they ain't nobody told me nothing, so I can't answer these questions.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what's going, like, is it different qualifications because of the pandemic, or is it the same system?
I would think different qualifications, just because more people are getting it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I would have known about it, I probably would have got it. But
so
me applying.
So it's only for if you have kids, regardless.
In school.
Yeah.
Mm. So what are they giving out per
No,
child?
the limit is, but I know recently they did like
a chunk.
Yeah, a chunk of a lot, and like people were getting thousands of dollars.
What do you mean, like a chunk per child, or like?
Just like on the card itself. I don't know, like.
But I'm saying, so it doesn't matter per child. It's just like they'll give you whatever they'll give you
for the family.
Oh no, I don't know like the limit of it or like how much a child gets. I don't know none of that. I just know that like recently they were like opening up or calling the line, and they was having like thousands of dollars in their EBT account or PEBT account.
So it's a different account.
Like the regular EBT
card.
Yeah.
Call the number on the back, and they
no. But see, but y'all are saying two different things, because one person is saying, she was talking about how people are calling the card and then they have thousands, but you said if you didn't get it before, now you could get it. So I'm just trying to figure out, if you don't have a card, how would you get it?
Are calling to see how much they have on their card, and it's like $1,000, $2,000.
Right, but if you don't have the card, how are you getting it?
You don't. You have to apply for the card.
You have to apply. So it's okay. So they're not sending anything home with students to make you aware of it.
No. You were supposed to, like, somebody told me about it right when it ended. I think like last year in April. And I was like, oh, you know, like, what's this? Like, I could be buying her school lunches so I can send her lunch, you know? And then I was like, then the teacher was like, oh, that's over with. I was like, y'all ain't told me not a goddamn thing about this.
So basically it's like a stimulus check, but for food.
Yeah.
And if you qualify.
Yes.
If you have kids.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I'm a little confused, because if you already, this is the only thing I'm trying to figure out. So if you already was getting EBT, you just get a boost. But they're not making it aware for people that don't get it.
Yeah.
That actually need it. Because if you already get it, how are you lacking? Because you weren't, like, it wasn't like you was using your money to buy the food.
I don't know. They get it.
Oh no, I just feel like, and this is kind of like off subject, but on subject, like I feel like people who are already getting government assistance are up on these things. Like if you're already getting government assistance, you know when the government is doing something for other people. So whereas me, like I wouldn't know anything because I don't get government assistance at all.
So basically, it's word of mouth. Like if you knew somebody to get it, they would have to tell you to get it.
Yeah, like because I don't remember the school saying anything, but I knew about it, and I knew you had to be like on free or reduced lunch. But it's like the school ain't really said nothing about nothing. Yeah. But at the same time, through the pandemic, they wasn't charging for lunch anyway.
No, they're still getting free lunch.
I'm just trying to figure out how is this beneficial for the people? How is it reaching other people other than the people that were already getting?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I was like, people who are already on assistance, they be knowing stuff firsthand. Like,
because you know, Bree is actually eligible for reduced lunch, but I was like, I'm not paying for reduced lunch when I can just send her food that I make the night before. And so that's what I had been doing while she was in school. And then, you know, the pandemic hit, they were out of school, blah, blah, blah. As soon as they went back, they were like, oh, we're going to have free lunch. And
this is for all the students.
Yeah, all students get free lunch.
And then like a little bit after that, like one of my coworkers told me, she was like, oh, my kid got a paper for a PBT. And I was like, well, I never got one. And so like,
so they are handing out something,
but they only handed it to specific kids apparently, because Bree didn't come home with one.
I mean, to be honest, they could have put one in the book bag. I probably wouldn't know because I only check Mason's book bag once a week because he only has homework once a week. And we do that homework. So, I mean, I don't be really looking at all the other people.
I'm wondering if it didn't reach the two of you because you don't qualify and you qualify for reduced, but you opted out of it. So you're not in the system as free or reduced lunch. Therefore, they're not going to hand you a slip. And it possibly went to the kids that are already registered for free and reduced lunch.
Yeah. I don't know. It's real, you know, it's shady. It's
a little bit shady because I'm just trying to, I don't have no problem with everybody, you know, with the people getting extra food because at the end of the day, it's food and food is expensive. So I feel like that's a way to implement a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
For the people that already was previously getting assistance for food. But I'm just wondering, how come they just didn't hand it out to all of the parents?
I don't know. It ain't like they can't.
And then it's like, and then it's like, for the most part, speaking just like in general, I know it's not all, but speaking like the most people that are probably getting the PEBT already has EBT already. So I don't understand why it would be an extra step. Like you should just add more money to that card.
I'm not gonna say it's a bad idea because now they can eat healthier because you know food is a little expensive. But I'm just trying to figure out how did that actually deal with the pandemic? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they was already eating the proper meals, the pandemic didn't, unless maybe they cut the food stamps because of the pandemic, which that's a stretch, and I know that didn't happen. I'm just like, what was the...
I don't know. I feel like the government just don't be honestly knowing what they be doing. Like, when it comes to helping people. I think they do,
though. That's the thing. I think they did that on purpose.
Like, for what?
So they can, you know, they dream to push out the middle class to poverty. So like, okay, let's do something. So nobody's gonna say anything bad about them doing the PEBT because it's like, oh, you're helping people that need it. But the middle class that actually needed that because they lost their jobs or they got pay cuts, you're not gonna give them nothing. And like nobody's really gonna say anything about it because it's just like, oh, they helping people that need it. They helping the people that need the extra assistance. But you really you just skipped over the main people that need it.
Right.
You never was giving them food. I don't understand it. That's just so weird.
That's why like middle class people like us, we need to like just make a way for ourselves to be financially, comfortable and stuff, because like we just be left in the dust. I mean, honestly, like,
I don't understand the qualifications of it at all. Like, nothing makes sense to me. Nothing. Because, me personally, I've applied a couple times because I'm like, damn, like, all right, now, looking a little bare in my fridge. I need a little strength. And then I applied 4 times, got denied all 4 times.
I think it's a scam.
It's a scam. The whole thing is a scam. Like, not even with food, just like the government in general. The worst scam, or the thing that I hate about the government most is like credit. Like, credit to me, like, I get it because you want to make sure that people are going to, pay you back if they say you're going to pay them or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, it's full of shit. Like, it's literally full of shit. Like, even with me being in the market of trying to buy a home, it's like, you gonna tell me credit-wise, my credit isn't good enough to afford a XYZ house that I'll be paying like maybe $800, $1,200 a month for my mortgage, whatever. But yet, now I'm gonna have to go rent a place for like $1,400. Like, what? Like, how y'all know my...
No, because that's still qualifications. Like, the person that lets you rent the house for the $1,400, they choose to take that risk, because technically the same credentials are used, whether it's for a house to buy or a house to rent. So if that person takes the risk, then they just take the risk. But it's still the same thing. They're still the same thing.
I mean, I get that, but I feel like you should still go by history. Like, I feel like if somebody is working
no, that has nothing to do with history. They're going by your income. Like, if they feel like
but
you
if
can
people
afford
know
it,
how to make it work, they know how to make it work.
I mean, it's just about risk.
I mean, because if somebody is living in a place that's $1,400 a month and they are consistently making those payments, no missed payments or whatever, then I feel like, yeah, they should be able to buy a house.
You can say that, but then something like this past year happens with the pandemic and you lose your job and unemployment is going to take a little longer to get, or something happens in your paperwork and you can't get unemployment and now you've been out of a job for a month. You were doing what you had to do, but now it's literally impossible. Like, you can get everything together.
It affects anybody. That affects a lot of people, not just people with
because the ratio goes is if you're not going over your living above your means, the way that the ratio they're looking at, then even if that was to happen, because you're not living above your means, then other things can fall through and you'll still have that extra money to do what you need to do. That's like the creditor's perspective. But if you're already budgeted tight, neck to neck, if something falls through, you have no wiggle room for the creditor's eyes. I'm not approving or disapproving no loans.
And to me, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
I don't think that. I do think that they're trying to get rid of the middle class, but...
So you're going to have to be poor rich.
Poor rich. It's already there, but I think now, next year is really going to be, like, legit. Because it's just like the stuff they're doing don't make sense. Like, how y'all giving $500, $1,000 for me to get vaccinated? I thought we ain't had no money. I thought y'all had to cut payroll and employees to part-time and you can't pay them because y'all don't have no money. But how y'all giving these bonuses? I'm looking for it. Where the money comes from?
$500, $1,000 for people to be vaccinated?
Yes. Like the companies are giving employees money if they get vaccinated. And then other people are giving out free donuts, free sandwiches, free beer, like free stuff. And I'm like,
because they got money back. Stuff? They generated money back from cutting these people off. That's why.
No, but they saying that they've reached their maximum. Like, they have no money. They trying to make ends meet.
I'm convinced the government just be printing paper, and the money that they be sending us, like the stimulus and all that money is basically worthless, because how are we in trillions of dollars of debt, but you're able to give us like money?
Oh, that's inflation though. They can't print to print. Like, they can't print to pay off their debt. They're printing.
Yeah, because then the value of
with
money would no
inflation,
longer be. Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, all that money they gave out for the pandemic, how does that work with us being in debt like that? Like, where did it come from?
Because they printed it. But that doesn't have anything to do with the trillions of dollars of debt. That was like, that's where inflation comes from. That's to generate the economy. They can't print money to pay off their debt.
And let's not get it twisted, because yeah, all that money or whatever that they gave us, blah blah blah, even though that's money that we don't have to pay back, we're going to be paying it back when it comes to like taxes and like stuff like that. So like our kids are going to be affected by that. So I mean,
we gonna be affected by that.
Honey, dragging ourselves in the dirt.
Honey, they already affecting us by that. That's why they keep fucking around. They don't want to pay. They let corporations don't pay nobody no money because the corporation's giving them money, and then they like, all right, cool. Keep scamming.
Yeah, but I feel like now, especially because I don't know how it is in New York, but like a lot of people are hiring now, and like a lot of people are, you know, raising their rates or whatever, because, and I don't know if it has to do with more of, you know, people just saying, you know, the pandemic hit, I realized my worth, you know, without these jobs, blah, blah, blah.
They didn't realize their worth. They realized it when they got the unemployment, and they was like, now how I'm getting more sitting on this couch than I was working and slaving.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's realizing your worth. Like, you know, you could literally sit at home, and I mean, of course, the government is giving you a check, but at the same time, like, I'm making tons more, not tons, but, you know, I'm making way more, sitting here than...
I don't think it's that. I think more people are more like woke with like entrepreneurship. No, with entrepreneurship. So it's just like I can just scheme, surfboard, and get money and get, like how you said, and get my bills paid, you know, and make do. Or I can be slaving for Paul. I'ma just surfboard.
Right.
So now they're trying to find ways to like get people to work, but don't nobody want to work. So everybody hiring, because it's like, even when y'all increase y'all little wage, I can still be surfboarding and make that shit myself.
Exactly. And that's one thing, like, I think it's better. I mean, obviously everybody can't do it. Everybody won't do it. But if you have the wherewithal to do it, then you should definitely try to pursue being an entrepreneur and making your own money. Because at the end of the day, and I think about this every day I clock in, if I was to die tomorrow or something drastic, every day, if I was to die tomorrow or something drastic was supposed to happen to me, my job will replace me in a blink of an eye. Like, not even give a fuck. So it's like, I'm tired of slaving for people who won't care if I die tomorrow. You're not gonna show up to my funeral. You're not gonna pay my funeral costs and none of that. So it's like, why should I give it so much energy?
I don't know about, well, it depends on the company, but depending on your job, because I'm not gonna say everybody can be entrepreneurs, but I would just hope to work. People need to just be valued as an employee more and not a number like what you're saying. Because even people that like to work can work for other people.
Yeah, that's true. But like I said, because everybody obviously can't be an entrepreneur and everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, but I do. I have no desire to work under somebody else. I can work with somebody, but I can't work for anybody. Like, I just can't. Like, that's definitely not.
I don't have a problem working for somebody. Really, I mean, I want to work for myself, but I don't really have a problem working for someone if I'm valued.
What's value to you, though, working for someone?
Valued is like, I just want a work-life balance where if I need to take a vacation or just time out for whatever the case may be, then I don't need any like stress about it. I shouldn't feel stressed about it. My pay and the life that I live, my expenses, because I don't live like lavish. I live a basic lifestyle. So I should not be able to I shouldn't stress about how much money I'm bringing in to live a minimum lifestyle.
Right.
Like, you know, like, just do what you should do. Pay me what you would pay your child. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if it was laid out that way, then yeah, I could understand working for someone. But with these big corporations, like, yeah, I don't see it ever being like that. Like, to me, I can't see myself, or it's hard for me to see myself being like, I'm sitting here, hello, thanks for calling Verizon, yada, yada, yada. When the CEO, out, living lavish. Like, at this point, it ain't fair. And I'll try to get money myself and, get up there with you, because why you on a golf course and I'm sitting here getting cussed at? No.
Yeah, but they also deal with different levels. Their job description is very different from your job description.
Yeah, but the CEO of Verizon is not handling everyday customers either.
Yeah, because his job description is different from your job description. I don't have a problem. That's why I said I can work for somebody. I don't have a problem with the CEO of my company or whoever is my boss, living lavish. Because like I said, I don't want to, that's not the lifestyle I want. That's not the lifestyle I care about. I can't handle that stress anyway. Can barely handle the day-to-day stress. So I just want, what I should be paid.
So if you could pick your hourly, how much do you think you should make? Or if you want to go salary-wise, you can go salary-wise.
It depends
with
on
your
my
job
position.
title, with what you work right now, what do you feel you deserve?
Well, with my work right now, I have a lot of outside stress. So I think thinking my job is more stressful than what it is. But if someone in my stress levels right now, because the market is really stressed and it's just packed, I personally would say 100K. But this is just me. At my stress level right now, but when it slow down, we can work with something else.
Okay, Quila.
Okay, so hourly, I would say 30 an hour, just because I am in the education field, so I'm teaching the future. Okay, I'm in a little extra cushion because teachers are very much underpaid. They are very much forgotten about. They are very easily let go. So I would say, as an educator,
I don't know about very easily let go, but they're underpaid.
A program in a hot cake. They don't care.
You say what? I didn't hear you.
They will cut a program in a hot minute. They really don't care about it.
That's like extracurricular.
Yeah,
not like
they're never gonna cut.
They cut that out of the district because they said it was unnecessary.
But they're never gonna cut the essentials. They're never gonna cut math, science, English and
but I'm saying what I deal with on a day-to-day basis, because I teach special needs children, they cut that out of the district because it said it was unnecessary when those kids need to learn as well. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother topic. I can get on and on about special needs kids because I ride for them, but
I know you rock for them and all, but you do know South Carolina has a very, very I've met people that said South Carolina does above and beyond for disabled children. There's a lot of other states that don't give attention and don't have the funding like South Carolina. Anderson, actually, to be more.
Yeah, because I just feel they're doing a lot. They are, but at the same time, I can teach a child how to cook and clean at home. I need you to teach them academics when they're at school. I can teach them the basics of life. I need you to prepare them for an end of course test. There's no reason that a child with special needs is not able to take a test with an aid. No reason.
So is that something that you could request?
Yeah, it is something you can request, but at the same time, it is very hard to get one. I'm in the process of trying to get Bree one, because I ain't with the home ec stuff.
But let me ask you this, because this just goes off of what we see more than not. Do you think half of her class, more than half of her class, the parents are going to be helping the children? So I know you said the teachers should do what they should do, but teaching isn't just at school. It's supposed to be happening at home.
Yeah.
So do you think more than 50% of the students' parents will be teaching them the same thing that they're learning at school, at home, to help them?
From what I see with my little hoorah, no. But for me as a parent, I'm one of the ones that I do what I gotta do with my child. And we're gonna learn the curriculum and we're gonna get through it. And their tests, they do actual tests to see where they are on like levels, to see what they know and what they don't know. And Bree has one more test and she could be in a typical class.
Because I'm just wondering if you would have to go the extra step to make that happen.
You do. You have to tell them that this is not something that you want. And they're going to fight you on it. They are. But you have to be stern and make sure you tell them like, hey, this is something that I already said I don't want this. Like, I already said that. What you need to be doing is X, Y, Z. We got it in her IEP plan. Follow what I said. Period.
But I think that's great parenting skills.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that's great.
For your child.
A lot of parents are scared to speak up for themselves when they don't need to be, because this is your child. If your child can't speak up for themselves and do that for themselves, you need to step in and take over and make sure your child gets what they need.
Mm-hmm.
No, because it's the parents standing up for the child, though, because I really truly believe that in public schools, over 50% of the parents actually help the kids. I think a lot of parents really have it in their mind that their child goes to school to learn, and that's it. Like, they always think if the teacher's not teaching them correctly, then that's the teacher's fault, which is not the case. The teacher to child ratio isn't small. Well, depending on the class, but it isn't small. So the teacher can't give that one-on-one the way the parent is at home and that can see stuff when they're helping them and go back and notify the teacher.
What are you talking about exactly? Because, like, my mom, like, I mean, of course, when it came to like elementary stuff like that, of course, but like, you know, when you get up there in school, I'm sorry, I'll speak for myself even. Like, when Mason get up there in school, I don't know of how much I can be able to teach him, because all the information is going to be washed. Like, you can't come with me with no algebra, geometry. I ain't going to know none of that shit. I'm just be like, you know, that's not my job. I don't know.
That's not good to say. And for you to say that's not your job, I feel like you're disrespecting yourself and your child, because that is your job. You don't know anything about nails, but you researched and learned. So if your child has homework that you know nothing about, you research it and you learn it so your child can do what they need to succeed. And if you're not willing to do that, then that goes back to you.
Me, no, because I'm going to keep it straight up with Mason. Like, at the end of the day, because school, I mean, of course, it's important to learn, you know, history and English and maybe science, depending on, you know, what the situation is, math too sometimes. But when it comes to like algebra and like all the other stuff that you know you're not going to use in life, like, I'm not going to really stress about that. Of course, listen to your teacher, ask for help if you need it, but like, I wasn't good at those subjects myself, so I mean, ain't much I can do for that. But
so in that case, why do you put your child in school?
Huh?
If you think the curriculum that they're learning isn't feasible for their life when they are finishing school, why do you enroll your child in school? You don't have to enroll your child in public school.
At the same time, I do believe like English and, you know, learning, reading and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Of course I would want him to go to school for that.
Me personally, if my child has a subject or something that I can't help them with after I've tried, I'm going to get a tutor.
That too.
I ain't never had. I'm just saying. I made it through high school. My mama didn't help me, and I ain't had no tutor either.
I always wanted, like, I had a hard time with like science, and I took a lot of science classes. I loved science, but I had a hard time in science. So I wish I would have had somebody to actually sit down and help me with that, because my parents were working and couldn't help me with things like that. So if I could have had a tutor, I feel like I would have understood more things better, because I remember staying back behind class, talking to the teacher, trying to get a grip on what I'm trying to learn. Still,
And what age are you talking about?
I think it was 10th grade when we did chemistry. Chemistry rocked my world.
Okay, so what's wrong with that? Like, what's wrong with just asking the teacher for extra help? Like,
I'm saying, like, outside of that, because, you know, teachers only have so much time after each class to
Right.
something before their next class. So I'm trying to get this help. The EOC's coming up. I need the help. Who am I turning to? My parents are next, and they're like, ain't no.
but I feel like as a teacher, if a child comes to you, then I feel like a teacher, somebody who really enjoys their job, would sit down with the student to do that. Like, I know teachers too that have done that.
Sat down with me,
So,
trying to help me, gave me, you know, tips on how to remember things, but still, that's a big ass periodic table.
because at the end of the day, it's more, to me, it's like, okay, go to school. Even if you decide not to, if Mason decides to, you know, go to school, or drop out of school, whatever the case, I'm gonna give him two options. Either make sure you get your high school diploma or get your GED, because in reality, you're gonna need one of those things to get a job. But I'm gonna be more focused on him to say, I want you to be successful, and knowing that the school system won't really make you successful, but you do need it as like more of a certificate, so to speak. But to get real education of how to be successful, you're going to have to research that yourself outside of the school system.
So how are you going to implement that into his life?
Yeah, I'm gonna teach him that as he gets older. That's why I say, with me personally, my biggest thing is creating generational wealth. So I will be able to teach my kids how to do that. Because these are things that, like, when
No,
it
but
comes
I'm
to
asking
like,
you, how are you going to implement that in his life as a child?
teach them. But like I'm saying, when it comes to actual schoolwork, I can't help with stuff that I don't even know like, I was horrible at algebra. Horrible.
Yeah, but
horrible.
I'm asking what are you going to implement to help your child? If you don't think, I'm not saying that's wrong, but if you don't think that education in school is going to be beneficial to his life in the future, what things are you implementing to benefit him, his life, so that he can be beneficial and successful in his life in the future?
I'm gonna implement, which is things that I'm learning myself, but real estate and stock market.
At what age?
Once I master it myself. So once I get a good grip on, you know, the ins and outs of everything. So hopefully by the time when he's like maybe like 10, 12, around that time.
Well, very well.
Because at the same time, that's the only thing I want, because like everything that comes, and credit to everything that comes with being successful in this world, you don't learn that at school at all. Like, you don't learn anything about balancing a checkbook. You don't learn about credit. You don't learn about
all of that stuff in school, but
I did not learn that. In what school? Maybe college, but you don't learn that in high school. What teacher taught you that?
I ain't say high school, but I said I learned that in school.
So you talking about college?
Doesn't matter. I said in school.
I mean, I'm just saying. I didn't go to college. So, but in high school, because like I said, my only requirement for my son is to either have a high school diploma or a GED. If he decides to go to college, that's on him. But when it comes to those things like checks and balances and stocks and credit and stuff like that, I want to be able to teach that to my son, because school does not teach that. And in the case that he doesn't go to college, then he'll never learn it. And unfortunately, I didn't grow up, but I made mistakes in my early 20s, so where I did fuck my credit up, but I didn't know any better. And I felt like if my mom actually taught me those things, like she tried to tell me, she didn't teach me. She was just more like, you better not do that. You better not do that. But she never gave me the background of why those things were bad. And now I realize, yeah, I fucked myself up with that. And I want to make sure that Mason knows that growing up. So when he's out of school, high school that is, he will know how to manage all of that. And that's what I think is important.
So you're mostly going to focus on the real world versus academic stuff that the government has in place.
Correct. Because and of course when it comes to those subjects, like school in general, I think it's important because I think you have to be able, when it comes to like, English class and stuff like that, I think that is very important. But at the same time, real world is going to hit you. When you turn 18, that shit hits you like a brick. And that's what you need to be prepared for.
The bus that keeps on going.
Honey, because when I tell you, fail, shit, like, listen, when you get out your own parents' house and get that first apartment, when I tell you life hit you so hard, oh my God. I would give anything.
Real hit me now. What did you say?
It's still hitting, but it's a little bit more manageable because I've been living it for a minute. But
shit,
it's
shit
definitely
hit
hard.
me like a goddamn bus. I ain't see coming. I drunk a sip of coffee and that shit, bow. I said, oh Lord.
God damn it, I just got the accident.
Call y'all back. I gotta keep going.
I gotta go. That is too funny.
Lord. Well, thank you guys so much for watching.
And hold on. Before we end this cat podcast for the night, I just want to say happy birthday to this girl. I don't know where she's gonna be on the screen, but happy birthday to this chick. And yeah,
not chick.
All right, you guys, it definitely was a pleasure speaking with you. Oh, not my Verizon voice.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
All right, talk to you guys later. Bye. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.